Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you can join me here today and I hope you find today's session useful and beneficial. One of the things I wanted for myself in my life is to be able to control it. It is my life and it is a life that I would want to live on my terms because I control it. I should be able to call the shots, I should be able to dictate what my life should look like, and I should be able to live it the way I want to live it because no one else and nothing else has the right to live my life for me the way I want to live it. But then there was something that came up that started controlling my life. And that is what is called fate. Fate, fate. Now, if you go to the the Cambridge Dictionary defines fate as something that happens to a person or thing, especially something final or negative, such as death or defeat. Fate is also a power that is connected to cause and control all events, so that people cannot change or control the way things will happen. Now, this fate came into my life and decided to do things in my life, to control my life in a way that I wasn't very happy about because it's my life. Why should it come and start dictating how my life should be lived? And to be honest, fate started dictating my life from many years ago. So it decided where I was going to be born, in which family, in which century, in which skin color, in which caste, in which religion. And it didn't have the audacity to ask me what I wanted. It just brought me in the 21st century, born in Kenya, moved to the UK. It just decided for me that this is what my life will look like without me having any control whatsoever. And then all through my life, fate has decided to influence and to dictate my life in a way that I was not very happy about. So what I decided to do was to wage a war against fate because essentially it is my life and I should dictate it. So I started fighting against fate, and naturally I lost. And I realized that actually you can't fight against fate because fate is decreed, it is predetermined, it is destined. It is the way it is, and you cannot fight it. You just have to accept it. And that is the concept of Amor Fati. Amor Fati is a Latin phrase. It means the love of fate or the love of one's fate. Many philosophers and theologians have spoken about Amor Fati over the centuries. I think the earliest findings you would be able to find, earliest treatises would you be able to find about these concepts and these topics are from the Stoics, in ancient Rome. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, etc. You would see their work is, but essentially they were Greek, so they never used the Latin phrase Amor Fati because it's in Latin. Um, I think the best philosopher we can go to understand what this concept of Amor Fati is Friedrich Nietzsche. So Nietzsche was a 20th century German philosopher, a profound thinker, a controversial thinker, and I think for me personally, Nietzsche was is one of the hardest philosophers to read. His work is very convoluted. I studied a philosophy degree, and one of the things I was told when I was studying philosophy is write your essays as a good philosopher, not like Nietzsche. So don't write like Nietzsche because his writings are just so convoluted. It's so hard to understand. But his thinking was profound. He was famously known to make the controversial statement where he said, "God is dead and we have killed him." So yeah, very controversial. A video for another time, but he's a great philosopher. So, anyways, let's have a look at what Nietzsche has to say about Amor Fati. So, what does he say? So, if you look at one of his treatises, which is called "Why I Am So Clever," he says, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, but love it." He goes a step where he's not only accepting reality as it is, life as it is, he's loving it. He's loving fate because essentially fate is the way things are supposed to be. And you just have to love it because that's how it was meant to be all along. It was meant to be that way. So why not love it? He's got this whole concept of eternal recurrence where he says that life occurs infinitely over an infinite period of time. Things just recur over time. I won't go into the whole philosophy of eternal recurrence, but essentially that's what he's talking about. Is things are meant to be the way they are meant to be. It's all meant to be part and parcel, and all of these suffering and loss of life and all of these things are all part and parcel of life. It's part and parcel of who we are and what we do. Elsewhere in the gay science, Nietzsche says something else. He says, I want to learn more and more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things. Then I shall be one of those who makes things beautiful. Amor Fati. Let that be my love henceforth. I do not want to wage war against what is ugly. Looking away shall be my only negation, and all in all, and on the whole, some day I will wish to be only a yes sayer. I accept fate. And just to make a comment here, that when he talks about being a yes sayer and accepting things they are, he doesn't mean in a political stance or in any of a external stance. So just because there's oppression going on, you just say yes, that's it, I'm just accepting fate. He's not talking about that. He's talking about the inner reality and inward looking phase, where you realize that some things happen in life that you don't have control over. To you personally, not on a global scale, on a political scale, on a social scale, etc. It's to you personally, and he's basically saying you accept it, uh, and then he's going a step further and he's saying you love it. I mean, that's a higher level to love fate in that way, but you accept it because that's the way it's supposed to be. But then the question is why do we have to suffer? Like, why does life have to be so hard, where we have to keep on suffering again and again and again, and there seems to be no respite, because you basically suffer, and then once the suffering is finished and you come out strong at the other end, what do you see? You see a suffering just in the horizon coming towards you again, another suffering. But you've just had one suffering, so why is another suffering coming? It's just suffering after suffering, and it begs the question of why there is so much suffering, why there's so much hardship in life, and why fate is like this. So Nietzsche has an answer. Obviously, he has an answer. So elsewhere in the gay science, he says, only great pain is the ultimate liberator of the spirit. I doubt that such pain makes us better, but I know that it makes us more profound. What Nietzsche is saying is pain is necessary for us. It's ultimately, if we had no pain, we would be living in a comfort zone and we would vegetate, because imagine you have everything you want in this world, all the luxuries whatsoever. You don't have to work, you don't have to do anything, you just exist. What kind of a life is that? Like, there is nothing to live for, because you don't want anything. Whatever you want, you already have. There's nothing else you want out of life, and that becomes a very boring vegetative life, and a life, a soulless life, a life that has no purpose. What is the point of living like that, in a way where, if there is no purpose in life, then essentially there's no point. There is no point. But what Nietzsche is saying is this pain, this suffering, this hardship is meant to make us more profound. Even if you don't think it makes you a better person, actually it makes you a more holistic person, a stronger person. I know for myself, when I've gone through difficulties in life, I've come out stronger on the other end. So when everything else happens in life, it seems more mundane, because I've gone through such hardship in my life that I've realized that it's not as bad as we think it is, because Amor Fati. It's our fate. We love it as it is. We do what we can, and we accept that we can't change everything. It is what it is. It's just the way it's meant to be. Now, I say that probably the earliest writings that talk about this concept of amor fati, not amor fati, the word, the Latin phrase, but the concept of amor fati would go back to the Stoics in ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations talks about this, and Epictetus. So Epictetus says, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to happen. Rather, wish that what happens the way it happens, then you will be happy. Let's repeat that. He says, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy. Whatever is meant to be, let it unfold in the way it has to unfold, because that's how it has to be. So don't fight it. Don't be like me, who went to fight against fate, thinking that I am in control and I want it the way I want it. Don't fight it. Accept it. Understand that it is part and parcel of life. Understand that it's meant to make us more profound, as Nietzsche says. It might make us better people, more profound people, people who understand what life is all about, because these are part and parcels of life that you have to just accept it. There's a famous Arabic narration quote saying that says, you should tie your camel and then trust that the camel is there. Just leave it and trust the camel is there. Because what we do is we end up carrying the camel in our head and thinking, I wish we could change this and change that. Just accept it. The camel is there. If it's not there, okay, fine, it's gone. The camel's gone. We'll try and sort out what we can. But just accept that this is the way it is. Amor Fati. Now, I'd like to end with an excerpt from Ryan Holiday. So, Ryan Holiday is the author of the best New York Times best-selling book called "The Obstacle Is the Way." He's authored many other books. Most recently, he's authored a book called "Writing Right Now," which actually I am almost finished reading. "Writing Right Now," profound book on justice. So he's got like a whole series on stoicism. One is on justice. This one. He's got one on discipline called "Discipline is Destiny," and then he's got one on "The Obstacle Is the Way." So what does Ryan Holiday say? So Ryan Holiday says the goal is not "I'm okay with this," not "I think I feel good about this," but "I feel great about it because if it happened, then it was meant to happen, and I'm glad that it did when it did. I'm going to make the best of it and proceed to do exactly that. If the event must occur, Amor Fati is the response. Let me repeat that again because I think there's a lot to unpack here and it's so profound. He says, the goal is not "I'm okay with this," not "I think I feel good about this," but "I feel great about it because if it happened, then it was meant to happen, and I'm glad that it did when it did. I'm going to make the best of it and proceed to do exactly that. If the event must occur, Amor Fati is the response. Amor Fati, the love of fate, it is what it is. It was meant to be that way. It is always going to be that way. There's no point of fighting it. There's no point of being upset and angry about it. You just accept it. You understand that it is meant to be a profound change in our life. It's meant to make us who we are. We are going to be stronger people because of it, and we're going to be better people because of it. So I hope this video has inspired you to embrace Amor Fati, to embrace the challenge of life, knowing that you can't control everything, because essentially life is not in our control. Yes, you can control certain things and you should control certain things. I will control certain things because it's my life and I want to live it the way I want to live it. But there are certain things you just can't control. It's fate, it's predestined, it's ordained. If you believe in God, then you know God has destined this for you. So you trust that He has destined this for you. If you don't believe in God, then you know it's part and parcel of the universal way of being. No one has control over fate. Even the richest billionaire in this world has no control of fate. Fate is fate. That's what it is. It's meant to be the way it's meant to be. And as Ryan Holiday says, you don't just accept it, you love it. You love it because that's what it is. It's the love of this fate because it was always meant to be this way. It was always meant to be the way it is. Not the way you want it to be, the way it has to be. Let it happen the way it has to happen. So I hope, I hope this has inspired you, and I hope to have maybe touched a chord in you to accept reality as it is, and to learn that you can't really fight it, and sometimes it's better to accept, and maybe if you have an open heart, maybe to start loving fate because it is meant to be the way it was meant to be. Thank you very much for joining me here today, and I hope to see you soon.